Welcome back to another episode of Straight Facts. Maybe one of the biggest transfers in the history of football is upon us. We're talking Michael Olise, the 150 million euro bid that will be submitted this Tuesday. We're looking at Man United in their pursuit of Mateus Fernandes. We have a brand new update for you, and Man United fans, you're going to love it. Arsenal with a massive boost in their pursuit, not only of Morgan Rogers, not only of Tonali, but also Junior Kroupi as well. All of those players could be on their way to the Emirates Stadium this summer. We're also looking at Chelsea, who are about to buy another youngster for £21 million. And when Don will be here on the show, we need to ask him about whether he thinks that's the best use of their money. But we're also going to talk a little bit about the PFA today. The 6 candidates have been announced. Who deserves the PFA Player of the Year? Plus, we're going to be getting the pick from the panel on who they think their star player or standout team will be at this year's World Cup, which is not far away. And the Football Terrace has a big announcement coming very, very soon in relation to the World Cup. And I might even just give you guys like a really, really quick sneak peek. Should I do it? No, I'll hold it back. I'm buzzing about it. It's we've got some graphics through. It's going to be in, but we're going to hold it down. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Very, very important to us that you get that done. Tom Little is here with me, this side actually. KJ is here for Staffy, who pulled out last minute. And if more people did that, there'd be less babies. But Staffy isn't here with us today. Don will be here at some point soon. I hear he's brushing up on his quiz knowledge. After what I saw last night, he's brushing up on his quiz knowledge. That's why he's not here. Big up, no context. I love that. That channel. Woo, woo. You got it wrong, Don.
I still haven't seen this yet. I need to go watch this.
I go to No Contest TV. They're doing the quiz on the Big Six. Everyone answered the question correctly, bar Don. But then when they told him that he didn't get the point, he's pumping the air because I think he must have misheard what they said. He must have thought everyone else hasn't got a point but him. But yeah,
I think Don heard everybody, but everybody didn't get a point bar Don, as opposed to got a point bar Don. He's like, whoop, whoop. It's like, no, Don, you got it wrong. A bit of fun, a bit of a laugh. But Don will be with us here soon on the show. But gents, I want to start off with the big breaking news, and it's interesting. I spoke on this morning and read the quotes out from Perez that it wouldn't be a forward. He name-checked Olise, but a story has dropped in the last couple of hours. Fabrizio has now firmed this up, that the £150 million bid this Tuesday will be for Bayern Munich's Michael Olise. How big a deal, Tom, could this one be for Real Madrid, but how big could this be for the transfer market at large? Because if it was to go through, Bayern would then be in the market for somebody, and it creates a bit of a knock-on effect to anyone right now looking at wingers and forwards. This actually might be a bit of a concern.
Massive concern. And apologies if you had any news. There's work being done next door. This could blow up the market in a way that I don't think anyone was expecting this summer, because Michael Olise is, when you look at the right wing especially, Michael Olise is by far and away the best possible player that could even be available. I know Michael will be going for Yan Diomande right now. He seems to be the best of a bad bunch. If Michael Olise suddenly makes the move and suddenly goes to Madrid, for Madrid, it's crazy. You're talking about a front three there of Mbappe, Vinny, and Olise, which is absurd in quality. But I do wonder the chemistry together. I do wonder how it all fits. I think these are all guys who want the ball. And I think that when you look at how that Madrid team had success when they won a three-peat of the Champions League, they had the main guy in the attack, and they had good attackers alongside him. You know, you had your Ronaldo, your Benzema, your Bale, your Isco, but there was a clear sort of hierarchy there where Cristiano was the main guy and the rest are facilitators around them. I think that at Madrid, if Olise goes there off the back of the season that he's had, alongside Mbappe, alongside Vinny, there could almost be potentially a little bit of a power struggle there for who wants to be the main guy in that team. But in terms of what it does to the market, that's really interesting to me, because I think the market this summer is already a bit sort of weird on the wingers. Anthony Gordon going for 70 million quid, I think, has set the base rate. And when you consider the season that he had last year, obviously I know he had a load of goals in the Champions League, but half of them were against Karabag. If Olise then goes, I don't think 150 gets him. I think it's going to be close to 180 million euros, which is what, 150 million pounds, give or take. Buying and then backing on the market, and that's going to be more competition for the guys like Jan Diamande and this, that, and the other. But I also wonder about the price it's going to do to these wingers. Guys like Bradley Barcola, who could be on the move. There's talk of 70 million, 75 million. Is he suddenly now going to bump up in price? Because everyone's going to look at Olise and go, Michael Olise's went for 150. Barcola's not half the player Olise is. Jan Diamande's not half the player Olise is. And then the market goes up again in a window where wingers really aren't all that great. I mean, I don't know if you haven't really had to look at wingers this summer. When you look at the winger market this summer, you're not sitting there with a plethora of options like there has been in the past.
We've been looking, and I agree with you.
You can't find much of anything, can you? You can't find much of anything where you're going, yeah, that's a sure bet.
Standout. There's definitely no standout in the winger market. So, yeah, if they end up, first of all, Perez, if you're bad, that's what Perez, if you're bad, do it. I don't think he's gonna do it. I think he's just chatting, just to chat. Because obviously we've seen these presidential elections before, Real Madrid, for Barcelona, for all these clubs. They say madness. I swear, Perez.
This one's great though. His rival pulled out a Haaland stuff the other day.
The Haaland thing it's all a farce. Like, if you know what modern politics is like, all the foolishness and the promises I make and never get fulfilled, football is just like, it will take a little drop from that. And I don't think it's like Tuesday. I'll be watching. I'll be like this, yeah. I'm watching Perez. If you're bad, drop that 150 million pound bid on Olise and see what happens. I don't think it does it at all. But the main thing is, in terms of what you questioned about the market, if they say if they did it and it was accepted, I can't see clubs then just being like, okay, then that means I'll just have to pay 100 for the Amanda. I just have to pay 80 million that was quoted for the Iliman Jai. Like, clubs won't just be like, oh, we have to play it because flipping Real Madrid just did something crazy. I still think there'll be the haggling. I still think teams will still fight for the right price, because at some point this football market has to either return to some kind of normality where fees are relative to the players that they have, or it implodes, because you can't keep going up. I remember when Liverpool bought Oxlade-Chamberlain for 40 million pounds, and everyone lost their minds. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is a bit expensive. What's going on?" But then 40 million became the average. It became the normal for a transfer. Then it became 50 million is the new norm. Like, and it just keeps going up and up and up. And for me, I can't see, just because Olise gets signed for a big amount, that now apparently all the other wingers just go up. Because I know what clubs trying to do, to try and use each other's prices and stuff as kind of a measuring stick to see how much their players worth. But I still think that we play players going for decent fees. Southampton wanted 100 million for Dibbling. Apparently that's how much it's worth. Went for flipping like 34. You know what I mean? Like, so there'll be a balancing act in all of this, personally. So yeah, I don't see it being a massive thing in terms of the whole market, unless it's Man United. If Man United do it, then it's our fault. Everything's our fault. It's our fault.
Yeah. Well, we've seen that in some of our group chats, haven't we? Last year when we bid like 70 million for Mbumo, it was like you were going to ruin the market. And the same people this summer are like, oh, I think Spurs spending 70 million plus on Van Hecker is really, really good business. And by the way, their opinion this summer, they could be right. I do think Van Hecker is a really good centre-back who could help Tottenham. But the idea that 70 million for an attacker that had just scored 20 goals and been consistent in the Prem for 3 years was ruining the market. But 70 million for a decent defender is absolutely fine. Yeah, there is Man United tax on opinion. I was going to say the bit that I'm interested in is Bayern Munich in this, because they've already come out and responded and said that, or they said him back in May, not to this particular thing, that there's no chance they would sell him, not even for 200 million euros. this is what I'm intrigued by as to whether or not Olise's head has turned. And the reason I mention that is because, typically speaking, football clubs don't start talking to the potential seller until a player is agreed or has said, I would join. Because what is the point? The last time we really saw that in a big-ish deal was when Arsenal a few years ago tried to sign Vlahovic. They didn't agree personal terms. I think they agreed a deal with Fiorentina, but the player's agent just didn't answer. I wonder how stupid he feels now, by the way, Vlahovic. I do. Sometimes we just spend a lot of time.
As they just left Juve on a free.
Yeah, but don't you find sometimes we talk a lot about players that flop, that all our clubs sign and flop. We rarely speak about the clubs or the players that make bad decisions. So Vlahovic not joining Arsenal is maybe one of the biggest mistakes in recent history. You've got Brighton, who refused. I think Man United were willing to give him 70-odd million last summer.
Belieber, yeah.
And they've said no for Belieber. Now they reckon they might not get more than 40. They've just cost themselves £30 million.
Is Mitoma. 100 million from Saudi for Mitoma, and they turned it down.
Yeah, they turned it down. There was another one, though, that I can't. I'll tell you one. Do you remember when Arsenal bid 100 million for Thomas Lemar?
Oh my God, the Thomas Lemar deadline day. Oh my God.
I went on holiday the next day. I was flying to Turkey. I was going on holiday. This was good. This got me about nearly a decade ago now. And I remember covering that at the airport when I was about to go away and thinking, like, people were like bantering Arsenal, you couldn't get it done. And I remember at the time, this is before Arsenal were good, but I remember defending Arsenal back then and going, shock horror, and saying, I think the selling club might regret this. I know we went for decent money to Atletico Madrid, but what a flop Arsenal missed there, by the way. What a flop, because he really didn't do much after he left. What was he? Was he Monaco? Was it Monaco?
Yeah, he was part of that Monaco team.
Yeah, he won the league. I think he might have won the league with flipping.
He won the league with Atleti, but he never hit the heights. He ended up playing.
And he ended up converting. He converted to like a centre mid or something like, right? Or
he just got relegated this season with Girona.
Yeah. So like his career's gone like down flipping ill, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's a thing. Selling clubs are so used to being praised for nearly everything they do, right? Look at Dortmund. Everything they do is amazing. Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth. Everything they do is amazing because when they buy low and sell high, look at all the talent they bring in, and they can demand that fee because they deserve to, because they're the one who scouted them. They're the ones to develop them. Blah, 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 blah. But when these transfers don't go well, when you reject 100 million, 80 million, 75 million for players, and they have poor seasons like Carlos Belieber, you got Mitoma, who's been injury prone, Vlahovic end up doing nothing. Evan Ferguson ends up at Roma to do
that 6 months that he had, where everyone was insistent he was going to go to like Chelsea or something.
They called him Baby Kane. Like, no one speaks on their failings when they're like, when these players flop. And they don't get as much as they get for like, I don't know.
Because as I said, I think everyone focuses on Isak and Viet this season, moved for big money and haven't yet delivered at Liverpool. But I actually think what would be, again, just different for a podcast one day. Maybe we'll make it a feature on the show soon, because it'd be nice to all do a bit of research and bring a couple to the table. But focus on the reverse of a flop, the ones that from the potential buyer you look back on and go, thank God we did. I'll give you an example for Man United. Because of the injury problems, I'm really happy now, looking back, that we didn't land Frankie de Jong for the money that he was coming in on. The technical ability of the player, I would have absolutely, yes, big up, bro. I would have absolutely de Jong at United from a technical standpoint, but he's had a lot of time out injured. He's had a lot of problems like that. And with Man United, we always overpaid. We always put them on too much salary. And it would have just, I've got this gut feeling now it would have been a problem for us. But yeah, viewers, let us know your flops that got away. No, see,
you know what? Yeah, that's a good point that you brought up about De Jong. Yeah, because if you remember, you man literally switched from a CM to a DM because you ended up getting Casemiro because of that. And when Cas came in that first season, he was amazing, bruv. Like him, Partey, and Rodri were definitely the best DMs in the league that season.
Yeah,
no, I agree. By the way, a lot of the viewers, you're not listening because you're mentioning people that were flops. We're not talking about players that joined for big money that were flops. We're talking about Tyler Diblin. Clubs willing to pay 80 million, 70 million. Southampton saying no, 100. and they end up only getting 30 odd million pounds. We're talking about players that were priced out of moves that we all now look back on and go, thank God our clubs didn't buy them. Evan Ferguson could have joined a number of our clubs for 50, 60, 70 million. How happy are we now that he didn't? Not the flops. We're talking, no, see again, Piqué doesn't count. Like, because he wasn't big money. It's those big money players that didn't go through that you look back on and go, thank God.
Fakir was like going to be 55 million-ish.
Maybe.
I haven't heard that word.
Fakir Friday just for his agent to turn up at the training ground and go, I want more money.
No,
The bill for Fakir was Turkey, man. He was Turkey before Turkey, bro.
And then Hassam Aouar. Remember that kid from Leon?
Yeah.
Every year it was Arsenal. Every year it was Arsenal.
He was just massive.
Remember Draxler? Yeah, Draxler as well.
Draxler's nearly happened. Saying Pepe and Felix, no, they got their moves. Stop mentioning people that I don't. Maybe you're trolling me now and trying to trigger me. Not people that made big money moves and were shit. We're talking about players that nearly went for big money and didn't, and you're glad they didn't. The near misses. Is that so hard to understand?
I'll tell you another one that happened recently. Paqueta to City. How much was he going to cost City?
He would help.
I've got the ultimate one. Adama Traore to Man City for like 87.
Oh my God, that's something. He was linked with us and City.
I don't think we can add Paqueta to that one, man. I can't lie. Like he was actually going to improve them, but obviously the whole gambling thing happened. Paqueta.
No, but do you know what though? So I look at it this way, Doc, right? Just objectively speaking, it's not as though Paqueta, I get what you're saying, but it's not as though his levels, they maintain themselves okay at West Ham. But what's interesting is why I think it was a near miss is when he was ready to leave West Ham, it was only clubs in Brazil that were willing to pay him the salary that he was on over in the UK. Nearly every other club in Europe went, we'll give it a miss. Now, that might be they're worried about the gambling side of things. That being said, no one's worried about that when it comes to Tonali. They're all very willing to take Tonali on this summer. So I don't know. It's I always look at who a player gets bought by. Even with my own opinions. Like who was it I was talking about the other day? Like I'm not a massive fan of Anthony Gordon, but I look at the fact Bayern Munich and Barca want him, and I'm like, maybe I got to swallow a bit of humble pie on that one and say, objectively speaking, I might be. I don't need to enjoy watching him play, but he got to have something about him. For
you know what it is, though? You know what it is, Terry? Yeah? It's the fact that the talent pool just isn't that large, bro. Like when you're looking at the left wingers in the market, not even just the Prem, yeah. Like if you break down the Prem, I've told you this many times, bro. You break down the Prem and you look at the left wingers in here. There ain't many, bro, that are levels. Like the best ones are probably what Mitoma. You know, you're looking at who else, bro? Like on the left, bro.
At the start of last season, there was a serious argument to be made that Cody Gakpo was the best left winger in the league.
Fair, with the way that he's gone, apparently Patrick Dorgu is one of the best left wingers in the league.
But Doku's probably the best one in the league, and like he's not even next like Nick Kvaratskhelia and these guys.
Yeah. Perez name dropped in. There's no doubt. Speaking of footballers. And wingers. I wanted to ask you this question, Don. Your club very very heavily linked today to I think it's pronounced Yohanna, who is a young 18-year-old, going to turn 19 this month. To be fair,
Nigerian guy,
young Nigerian lad. They reckon it's going to cost about £21 million, and you're seriously interested in. I wanted to ask you you've obviously got Quenda coming in. You already have Esteval at your club. You've already got Shirley. Do you think this is the right way again for Chelsea to be spending some of your resources, £20 million on another young winger? Or do you as a Chelsea fan want to see every penny you can put into the more established players?
I mean, at this stage, again, I just want to be seeing, established names coming in. But the thing with this kid, I highly doubt we're going to sign him for Chelsea, bro. You'll probably be signed for like Strasbourg or something. And even if Chelsea do sign him, they'll probably loan him out to Strasbourg. I don't really, at the end of the window, if we sign the ready-made talent we need, I won't really care about the signing. But it's not going to look good optically if we sign him and then you're still seeing, kids signed for the first team, if that makes sense. Because I highly doubt we're going to sign this guy and bring him to the bridge now. Do you get it? I think that's probably a move more for Blue Coal rather than Chelsea Football Club, if that makes sense. So as long as we still make the signs we need to make, it is where it is. He'll probably just be another one that will get flicked.
The thing is with this one though, is like it's been reported like today that you and Newcastle have agreed £21 million for him. 21 mil for an unknown Nigerian kid who plays in the Swedish league is a lot of money. I'm not saying that you're not going to sign experienced players, but it's again just one of those signings. Why do you guys need to even make that signing, especially with like the ends? Because you guys, I swear, you guys have gotten CISO technically. You guys, It's just these weird moves from Chelsea. Like, why are you doing that when you?
That's the thing. Exactly. That's what I mean, bro. That's how they operate. That's how these guys operate. When they see these young players on the market with a lot of potential, they just look to bring them in, regardless, right? And like I said to you, look, from day one, I've got no problem if you're gonna do that. If you're still investing in the first team, yeah. If that's your little side hustle to try and flip players, you go do that, right? But don't neglect the first team. That's always been my take from day one. If you're gonna do that, spend the money that you make back on these players correctly. Do you know what I mean? Because this summer, a lot of these players, Terry, that are similar to this Nigerian kid, they're gonna get sold off the books as well. They're gone. You know what I mean, bro? This is what these guys do. This is their model, bro. This is their model. I don't agree with it, like fully, but this is what they do, innit?
Are those guys? Are you guys going to be able to get this flipping idea that Chelsea fans like to talk about? Oh yeah, we're just signing and flipping for more. How many of those are you actually going to get? Because who's going to be this guy that you've bought for 5-10 million and you're selling them for 20? Because if you go through all of those kind of signings, like the Angelos and all of those guys, I don't know how many of them you've actually flipped for more.
Now we've made profit on a lot of them. You know, like Angelo, we made profit on from Saudi. We made profit on Omari Hutchinson, if you remember him. Yeah. I think Chukwuemeka is probably one of the guys that we just kind of broke even because he was kind of stop-start. He kept breaking down. Who else did we sell, bro? There was a guy.
Have you sold Datro Fofana yet?
Datro Fofana is going to leave this summer. We'll probably take a loss on that. Actually, they'll probably make a profit on him, you know, because I can't remember how much we bought him for in Norway. Yeah. But to be fair, most of the signings that they've made like that, they've made a profit. But I don't care about that if you're not going to invest in the first team. That's my opinion.
Well, this is you're bang on, Dom, because when all the trading accounts came out for Chelsea, but then all the parent companies, it worked out that for all the buying and selling of players since Blueco have been at your club, you made something like £27 million profit in totality. And that's when I start looking at it as someone who has worked in finance, and you think for all that outgoing and all that effort that goes into buying and selling that volume of players for £27 million, if you'd have put that effort into getting a permanent front of shirt sponsor for that same period, you'd have made more money. Does that make sense? And it's like anything in life, right? There's no point. I used to, when I worked in the commercial part of the bank, right? Very boring story, but it'll make sense. I used to deal with a lot of the convenience stores. My first job, it was local businesses and all the convenience stores. And some of them, I'd see their turnover and go, wow, look how much money these little corner shops are making. I couldn't believe it. And then you digged into why there was so much. It's because they had TFL and lottery machines in their business. So people were going in there and spending thousands a week topping up their... Back then, there weren't even Oyster cards. They're going in there and buying their travel cards, their travel tickets to go on buses and trains, going in there and buying their lottery tickets, buying scratch cards. But most of that money, borrowing like 1% of it, none of that belonged to the convenience store. So there's all this, and a lot of them wanted to get rid of these things. But maybe someone comes in to buy a train ticket, but they buy a drink as well. But they were basically saying that there's barely any cross sales. A lot of them wanted to get rid of these machines because they said the cost on the effort to like have all this cash come through and all this money, and we're making 3 or 4 trips a day to the bank to get rid of the cash. We get robbed more because we've got all this cash in the business. They were basically saying for 1%, they're like, it ain't worth it. And I look at Chelsea and it gives me that same energy of if you're not making £100 million profit every couple of years on all this buying and selling, just stop it. The City, a lot of money through the way they do it. If you're not making the cash, put the energy in elsewhere is what I would say. But agent fees are included. So that profit, it factored in everything to do with buying and selling players, agent fees, wages. They ended up making around 27 million. It worked out. I think it might have been 29. It was just around below the 30.
That's what I mean. The way that they operate and you know sort of run the club is just clownery stuff, bro. Because I'm like looking at even with the whole front of shirt sponsor, like you've mentioned, Terry. Yeah, like it's the 4th year now. It's the 4th year that you're entering the season without a sponsor. Now, all these times you've been outpricing people. You've been, you know, telling people we want 50 million or whatever. Like last season, for example, we had Damak. If you guys remember, they're a big company like Dubai. They do a lot of like building works and all these things. They build all these apartments and whatnot. Cool. We got Damak for like the last 10 games of the season, right? We're going to the new season. We've got Champions League now. Okay, cool. You can now demand more money. No one was trying to give Chelsea the amount of money that we were asking for. So we were just wasting time. So there's money on the table there, but you're not trying to accept it because you want more. Wasting time. We end up getting a sponsor towards the end of the season. And that sponsor, I never want to see it again because we finished 10th.
AI or something.
That AI, whatever nonsense that is, right? We finished 10th with them. And then now we're back to square one where we're not in Champions League. So the money that you're asking for before, you can't get it now because you're not in the Champions League regardless. So you basically wasted time last season, leaving money on the table. And once again, bro, you're not trying to accept the 30-40 million that people are trying to offer you. So if you think about it, bro, they've actually lost out on probably 100 million plus, right? 100 million plus from just dilly-dallying and outpricing people, right? It's been 4 years. Whoever's in charge of this whole front of shirt sponsor thing, he needs to get sacked as well. Because 4 years down the line, how have you not been able to get the project sorted out, bro? KJ, you're Jamaican, bro. You're Jamaican. Imagine how you no, because people will know if you man are from yard, if you man are African, yeah, or you're Jamaican, bro. You know about when your family or your mom and dad want to build a home, yeah, back home, right? Yeah. Now imagine how you keep calling this builder the project manager, bro. Yeah, what's going on, bro? Why is there only a door frame that's been built? Oh, well, you know, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's that. A year later, hey, yo, why is the roof still not up? Oh, well, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's that. Brother, 4 years down the line, you're just blowing my money, if anything, bro. You know what I mean? You're blowing my money. I'm not getting nothing back for my return. What's going on here, bro? Like, you have to get sacked. So it's the same thing here with the front of shirt sponsors. Whoever it is that's in charge of that, bro, he needs to go because clearly that man doesn't know what he's doing, bro. Or man or woman, they don't know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Does anything in your model work? You can't get sponsors over the lines. Your whole player trading thing makes about 20 million quid over 4 years. Does anything in you're finishing 10th 4 years into your project? Does anything really work in this model that they're so insistent on standing by because it's going to come good eventually?
I want to show you guys something as well. And this is where Chelsea fans, you know, when I talk all the time about football fans who care about the money at their club. It's not my money. Just spend what it takes. Morons, right? I want to show you something with Chelsea. So Chelsea are on the left-hand side here, right? So when you look at Chelsea, this is over the past 5 years. They've been pretty static with their income. Some Champions League seasons, some without. No, there's barely any Champions League seasons. It will go up this year because they were in the Champions League and won the Club World Cup. But it's going to come straight down again because they're out of it. But they've been hovering around that 400 to 500, high 400s, but 500 million pound mark, nearly 600 million. You look at Man United on the right-hand side. We have barely had Champions League football in that period too, but we are somewhere near averaging 200 million pound a year more income than they have. But we were also losing a lot of money in this time. That has now stopped. You then look at Arsenal, and this is what's really interesting about this. Arsenal, their turnover used to be lower than Chelsea's by 150 million plus a year. Arsenal are now earning close to 300 million pound a year more than Chelsea. And the reason this is significant is because if Arsenal manage to keep qualifying for the Champions League, challenging for league titles, going deep into competitions, and Chelsea don't fix it, if you go 5-6 years with any big club earning 200, 300, 400 million pound a year more than you, unless they spend it on absolute magic beans, right? If they spend it on magic beans, you might catch them. But this is why Chelsea have got to either get rid of the player trading or make it work. They've got to get the front of shirt sponsors. And I look at this 18-year-old they're going to sign. He might end up being a world superstar, fair play. But it's 21 million pounds that's going to come out of that revenue you've seen there. Where I think what you're better off doing is putting everything this summer into 4 or 5 experienced players, getting back into Europe, maybe back into the Champions League with Alonso, and just creating steady income that is reliable. Not
exactly. You're spot on, bro. Like I've been saying this about these guys for years, Terry, right? They're gamblers. This is the year now. Well, it should have been done time ago anyway, bro. Take less risks, bro. Right? I hear it. In your world, in your, you know, this world that they've created, this guy could become a world beater, bro. But focus on the now. Because in the now, like we've said before, Terry, if Chelsea, you know, aren't consistently competing in the Champions League or even getting into the Champions League, there will be more Enzo Fernandes. There will be more Cucurellas, right? So you will end up just being stuck in this mess where you're consistently turning over players, right? Consistently having to change the team, right? You're a team that is less attractive now because people look at you and say, yo, I can't go Chelsea and win. I'll go Arsenal instead. I'll go Man United instead because they're on the up. I'll go to Man City instead because they keep winning. Chelsea aren't winning, bro. So you're spot on, bro. Like Arsenal and PSG, they're getting a lot of bread from reaching that final. And Arsenal now, they've been stable in the Champions League for a few years. And that's why, like you said, their revenue's gone back up. Whereas with us, bro, for guys that love so much money, it seems like they're doing everything to lose money. That's the irony of it.
I agree with you. Again, you go back to 2001. So when lockdown was on, there was no fans. But PSG's income was around 550 million a year. So you fast forward to now, they're hitting almost 900 million every single year. That is because they've consistently been in the Champions League, consistently bought. Again, they bought a lot of youngsters recently, but it's coupled with experienced players. And it's Man United, by the way, a big part of our financial problems wasn't just because we were overspending. It was because we couldn't get back into the Champions League regularly enough because our recruitment was poor. These things matter, and football fans need to focus on it because the revenue your club generates often dictates how successful you are. Because you look at the top 6 teams revenue-wise, and 7 now, you include Arsenal, in Europe and the world in the last 8 years. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, PSG, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, who basically win all their leagues, and they're basically all of the they're all the teams that have won the Champions League or been in Champions League finals basically in the last decade. So your revenue, so people do this, the heritage of this club, heritage of that club, that plays a part. But it's because they buy the best players and they pay the salaries that are needed, and the business people keep the money coming in. And if suddenly PSG or Real Madrid started earning what Chelsea have been earning for the next 5 years, they'd win barely anything. PSG would win their league, but Real Madrid would stop winning their league and stop competing. If they dropped down to the same income as an Atletico Madrid, they wouldn't be they wouldn't be better than Atletico Madrid because the money is important. And that's
the thing is, Terry, when you're making less revenue, right? That is basically making your club have less room to make mistakes, because that money that you're spending, bro, you got to spend that properly because you ain't got the bread to fall back on. Like, I don't know, for example, Arsenal, obviously no club wants their team to be making mistakes. I hear that, but end of the day, it happens, bro. All of our clubs buy duds or buy players where you're like, oh, I thought they were going to be better, right? Cool. But if let's say you're sitting on 500 million now, the revenue, yeah, in comparison to, I don't know, 250 million, bro, that team that's making in 250 million revenue, you better be bang on with most of your recruitment, because that money, you need to make sure that you're spending that correctly. Whereas when you've got more money to fall back on, it's like, okay, we made a mistake, but we go again. It's hard to go again when you're making less money, bro. You know what I mean?
You're spot on. And that's also why I advocate all the time at United, don't overpay for players, because if you overpay and they flop, so you pay 30 million more on them, you pay them 100 grand a week more than they're worth, and then they flop, to get rid of them is so difficult. It's why City, why Liverpool, why these well-run teams, when they do buy a flop, they typically are able to move them on quite quickly because they're not a pain to get rid of. But viewers, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions on the stuff with Chelsea. KJ, a big update in the last 40 minutes from Sean Connolly, who's obviously a very popular sort of United, not an in the know, but he's a journalist very well connected to Man United. He says Man United are aware of widespread interest in Mateus Fernandes, though they believe most is exaggerated at present. Talks are going well and the reps remain confident of a deal. This is coupled with Simon Stone saying he believes a deal is going to happen. And even West Ham sources have said United are the most likely outcome. How confident are you of United getting Mateus Fernandes over the line? And is this the right move for United to continue bolstering the midfield this summer?
Yeah, so I'm actually, for once, when it comes to Man United transfers, fairly confident that we'll get this one over the line. I feel like we've clearly been talking to his representatives for a while. We clearly have been the first team at the door of West Ham, at the door of Fernandes, and trying to make something happen. And that means something in football nowadays. I know people are always worried about, but what if this club comes in and hijacks, and what if that club does this? And that is a possibility. But if you're not there first, if you're not showing that you're that player that you're top priority, it's easier to hijack in that sense. So I am confident because we've got Real Madrid going through their dramas and presidential stuff. PSG, they're on the back of winning the Champions League. The midfield isn't necessarily the thing they need to upgrade. They're looking at potentially what did I say they're looking at doing? Potentially doing like a winger, like a Yan Diamande. So there's that. Liverpool, you're gonna see what Iriola wants, because they've been linked. They're going to see what Iriola wants, what he wants to do with the midfield. Will McAllister leave? Will a Gravenberch leave, or something like that before they go? And then you got Arsenal, who their midfield is pretty good. I know they need some more midfielders, but what they would offer him, what they offer Fernandes, is a bench role, is a more support role to Zubimendi, to Declan Rice. Whereas Man United, he may not play every week, but we can pretty much guarantee him more game time. I think nearly any team that are in for him right now. So that's one good thing about the position that we're in right now, is that we can offer him something that many teams that are in for him probably won't be able to right now, because they've just got better players, they've got better teams, they're better clubs, right? So we're in a good position. I don't believe we'll be paying 80 million for him. I think he will be around the 60 mark, maybe 65 maximum. And if we do sign him, that is one of hopefully 3 midfielders that will come in and at least raise the floor of the ability of our midfield, because we have ran Ugarte, Casemiro, Mainu as our midfield 3 in a double pivot for 2 seasons. Half of it, and most of last season and half of this season, Mainu weren't even playing. It was Ugarte and Casemiro, or it was Casemiro and Bruno. So Bruno has even been moved out of position for that. So we really need to reinforce that midfield. And I feel like those 2 plus another will do that. I know our Man United fans are arguing, but we should have been in for Anderson. We should go buy Tonali now, and we need bigger names. I hear all of that. But right now, Man United need to focus on raising the floor, because our floor technically is almost in the pits, especially in that midfield. So let's raise that floor. The ceiling's getting raised with someone like a Fernandes and Mainu anyway, and let's keep going again. So I'm looking forward to potentially signing Mateus Fernandes, and he's a quality player with big potential. If you got the teams out after him, it's a sign, in my opinion. So yeah, if we can do it, I'm gonna be very happy.
I think United are certainly the most secure option out of any Premier League club for them. I think we could have been a little bit more interested, but I don't think we've done any of the groundwork that you have, because I think that we were originally on a different type of midfielder, and now Fernandes might be what the manager wants, but we're 3 months behind groundwork in the way that you are. It's very Caicedo, like with me, the way I'm looking at it. I think your biggest threat's PSG. If they move Fabian Ruiz on and they want to make they'll have to another guy like him, Mateus Fernandes probably fits that bill for them. That's probably your biggest worry. But if he's wanting to stay in the Premier League, it's certainly the right move. And I understand the frustration about Elliot Anderson. I know that this week City had the bid rejected for him. But United needs so many players that I don't think you can necessarily justify such a big outlay on one guy. I think because if you got Anderson in, you probably don't have the room in the budget for an Edison type. That leaves you with 2 midfielders coming in along, and then you got Mainu. So you're back to having just 3 midfielders again, and you pivot. Because I'm assuming you're moving Ugarte on this summer.
Yeah. Even if we have to drag him out, he
won't be there next year. So you're down to 3 midfielders again. You pivot, and you're playing 2 games a week now because you're back in the Champions League. That's just not that's not deep enough. I think that United are doing the right thing for once and going. Anderson would have been the best guy. He would have been, but we need to make sure we've got the options. We've got to make sure we've got the amount of players there. So we'll have to pass up on paying 120 and instead get... so, like, you got Anderson and Fernandes, Anderson and Edison, sorry. That cost you about 160, give or take. You can spread that out across 3 or 4 players and and your squad is in a much better state than what it would be in the other case. And I think the United of old might have gone for the Elliot Anderson route, where it's get the guy in who's got all the potential, all the big name, and then you actually look at the squad in isolation. You go, "Oh, it's not very deep. I can't really handle it."
You missed a big point there, Pam. I agree with everything you're saying, but the main thing with the whole Elliot Anderson situation, he don't want to come to us. He wants to go to Man City. So old United would have been doing what we did with Frankie de Jong, begging on their knees for ages, then get told no, finally sinks in, you panic buy and switch to Casemiro, and pay over the odds for him. You'll do the things where we would pay for Alexis Sanchez 100 grand more than you get at Man City. Well, okay, we go to Forest. Instead of 100 million that you're asking for, here's 125, here's 130, just to make sure we get him. Here's 350 grand a week for Anderson. And then we look around.
Just begging guys that don't even want to come, basically. Just begging anyone who doesn't want to come.
And then you don't want to come here anyway.
Sanchez said in his first training session, innit? I didn't even want to be there, bro.
Yeah, and do you know what's interesting, right? I think it's an insight at times to someone's personality. Because for me, I don't know, I never did this, but I had friends that did it, especially with younger lads, like maybe between the age of about 12 and about 16. Like they'd ask a girl out and she'd say no, or a girl would dump them. And be like, what are we doing today, lads? We'll be out on the estate. Where we're going to go? And you always knew what their angle were. So I used to live on this estate called Oliver Close in Leighton. And there was another estate near us. It wasn't, there's a few bad estates. There's Oliver Close and Cattle. But this was like, it's called Leighton Grange. And it was sort of like, it was a soft estate. Anyone from any estate could go Leighton Grange because there was never any trouble, right? So it used to have this square. We used to call it the square. And you could play cricket in there or football, or a concrete square. And we rarely went there to play football, but every now and then we did. And I remember my friend asked some girl out called Nisha, and she said no. And then we normally went to play football in the summer on this big gravel pitch, was by Leighton Orient's pitch. And we said, where are we going to play? Where are we going to play football today? And he goes, no, let's go Leighton Grange. Let's go square. Let's go square. And we all knew without saying, it's like, why? Because where this girl lived, her balcony of her flat used to look over the pitch, innit? So he was there trying to make noise and show off to try and get her attention. And I remember saying to him, even at that age, bruv, you do think she already rejected you. You don't think she's going to watch you score a volley and then go, that's my guy. Do you know how bad this looks, that you look so bothered? And this is what I don't want Man United to be. I don't want Man United getting told no by a player and then we just keep sniffing around. That is not going to be attractive. Whether it's a footballer or whether it's the fairest sex you're trying to attract, that desperation makes you look very unattractive. Move on with your life. The best way to make someone realize they made a mistake, get in the gym, get your promotion, drive a nice car, hold yourself well. Because what you might get is that shit. I should have been over there. I should have said yes to you. Not please, I beg you. I'm on my hands and knees. Please come to me. No, I don't want. So again, as a United fan, I love the fact we're just moving on. We're moving on, and what some of the reports are saying, United are there in case something goes wrong. Yeah, if he gets dumped. Do you know what I mean? And he's sitting there crying, oh, I feel really down. Then it's, do you fancy a drink, mate? Like, then make you sweep back in. Show your charm. But right now, don't beg. Don't be a beg.
If the fella that she's looking at goes to prison for some reason, gets charged with some 115 charges, then
exactly.
You can be there. You know what I mean?
Be careful, though. Back where I grew up, right? You've got to be careful. If the boyfriend goes down, you always got to check for how long and for what for. Because if it's a really bad crime, you don't get involved. If he's only away for 3 months, he's going to be back soon. But if it's like 15-year stretch, you're like, that's sorted, mate. You get in there. You get in there, bro. That's what you do. So check it out.
Like Rich Free too, man. They're killing him right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No, he's the wrong one for that. I can't lie.
Yeah, I just don't want Man United to go around begging on their hands and knees for play. I love what Ineos are doing from a recruitment perspective. That they I saw like the West Ham accounts going, oh, you haven't even started speaking to us yet. No. And as soon as Mateus Fernandes 100% commits to us, we will. And then all these stories that are being leaked about all the other clubs, there's no more bidding war. And that's also the right thing to do. And I see United fans moaning online, lads. They're like, well, why don't we just start bidding now to get rid of all the other clubs? No, you idiots. If we start bidding now and they start bidding now, we will pay 80 bloody million. We convince the player to join, then there's no competition and you get the player cheaper. And we just sat here speaking out wasting money or not earning enough money. Well, if you earn an extra 20 million a year, but you overspend on players, you don't have that money either. It's honestly, imagine you get a pay rise at work, an extra $1,000 a month, but then you decide when you're going to Tesco to start. No, I know it says 50p for a tin of beans, but I'm going to pay you £1.50. You'd be an idiot to do that. Like, and that's what Man United fans are telling our club to do. Honestly, so many of our content creators online are actually thick. And that sounds horrible. They are proper thickos. I disagree, KJ. I don't understand the outrage for Anderson. He doesn't want to come here. Plus, his price is overrated high. It's like fans want the club to do the same dumb shit that they criticize for.
See, no, Joshua Jack, I think you might have misunderstood what I said. I agree with this, by the way. I don't get the outrage in terms of crying and saying, why don't we bid when the player don't even want to come here? Now, I agree with that. I was talking about, I understand the Man United fans want for a player like Elliot Anderson or the name like Tonali and a name like Tchouaméni. It's more of the desire, I understand, of wanting that for our team, necessarily them being mad, because I don't get why they're mad either, personally. It just is what it is.
This is a very interesting super chat. It says Tom looks like an anorexic
Khabib. Where's it? Don't Khabib have a beard?
Yeah, something I do not have.
Tom has sketchy bum fluff, not a beard.
Hey Tom, I need to talk to you. After the stream about.
Oh yeah, we were talking about you. Me and KJ were in London together yesterday, and we were talking about you actually, Tom. We've got some advice.
We need to chat to
you. You was in London on the D-Lo, innit? You don't tell the man them in the group chat. We're in London. What you man say? Yeah. It doesn't really matter. For me, it does, isn't it? Staffy as well. I called Staffy the other day. It was at the Knicks game when I called him.
Okay. Now, in fairness, it was just working it. Like KJ comes down, we're in and out pretty quickly when it comes to London. When we got there, it's just a work.
Yeah, we're not having a jolly up, unfortunately. Talking about
you never know. I could be about. I might be about.
Hey, Don, talking about being about. Yeah, we just need answers. Yeah, listen. I know you're not a fan of being clipped up because context is removed. but we need to know what was happening in that quiz. What did you hear to make you go?
I've watched it. It was like the quiet one, like
I'll be real with you, man. Then I'll be real with you, bro. Before I jumped on that show, bruv, I was out for work drinks, innit? And I had a few rum and cokes in it. You know what I'm saying?
I was weird.
I had a few rum and coke, so I can't lie to you. At that point, I zoned out and I just misheard him. I just misheard what he said. When he said when I was about to pick Votamade, I was like, bro, I remember it being Votamade because then he scored in that game, and then straight after he's conceded an own goal, if I'm correct, yeah. And then I was like, hang on a second, I was wrong. And then I'll be real with you. At the beginning, bro, the time and when I sat down in the chair, bro, I was getting some mad things wrong. Like there was a question about Saka. I said Bruno. And I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on here? And then when I like settled myself, I was all right. Like second round and third round, I was actually good. But the first round, I was rubbish.
In fairness, though, Don, I know you were doing a bit of this, but it's better than what you were doing on camera, Tom. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there, right? It's still definitely a better look. This says, Don, they might be gamblers, but you parade your assets on every stream. We are better than everyone. Honestly, need to start with fans before reaching owners. That's a lie, man. I don't parade everyone that they sign, bro. There's some players that they've signed here that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? There's certain players we've been linked to over the years that I didn't want. You definitely love Shirley.
I love Shirley, bro. Shirley's my number one. Shirley's my number one, bro.
Speaking of Shirley,
the thing about it, Terry, what it is about these guys, yeah? They sign good players sometimes, yeah? But they sign good individuals, but they just don't know how to build a squad. That's their problem. You know what I mean? There's a difference. They don't know how to build a team. But go on, bro. Go on.
Not here. My fault on that, KJ. It's just the people act like there's a 70 million difference between Anderson and Fernandes. They're near the same level. Plus, we go 115 million on the table. Other clubs know we have a lot of money. This is also a great point, Josh. And I know that United fans, there's too many United fans that live in fantasy land where they sit there, even under Fergie, and we did spend money, but we weren't the biggest spenders collectively over his time in England. City and Chelsea spent a lot more money. There was a couple of year period in the early 2000s where we did spend more than everybody for 2 years running. Outside of that, there was always 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually in the mid-90s had some seasons where we were the 20th highest spenders in the league. Even then, though, we couldn't just go out because we didn't do it. If you actually think back to that great team we had 07 through to 2013, it wasn't like we were able to. It wasn't because we didn't want to. We weren't able to go, right, we're going to keep Ronaldo and keep Tevez. Oh, Hargreaves got a bad knee. We're going to go buy Luka Modric. We're going to go get a young Toni Kroos. I know we're going to keep Ronaldo 09, but we're also going to buy Benzema. The club didn't have the money to do that. And this is why we've never had, although we earn a lot of money, we've never had that kind of money. And this summer, we might have 300 million to spend. But if we go out now and go, yeah, cool, we'll pay 100, 120. We even would say we can spend the money on Anderson. Fernandes becomes more expensive. Scott becomes more expensive. Lewis Hall becomes more expensive. And it's the public negotiations. I was saying it earlier. You work in sales, Don, so you'll get this just as much as I do. There are times when you sit there and tell either people, you know, if I'm sitting down with somebody that I want to buy my product, I'm telling them I'm so busy. I'm inundated with work. I don't even know if I can fit you in. We're that busy. We're doing that well. Because you want them to feel like it's a scarcity. You don't want to sit there and go, we are so struggling at the minute. Like, please sign with us. Equally, when people are trying to make you buy something, you don't sit there and go, yeah, we've got so much cash. This will be easy. You plead poverty so you get the best deal possible. Like, it's so normal. And the fact that Man United fans say the opposite online is they're either stupid or they're being deliberately obtuse, and it's jarring. Tom went from the from Spy Kids to Doc. Who?
Yeah, my managers.
Doc Ock. He looks like Doc Ock.
Oh,
You had the best fan.
Tom, you had Wilson Fisk. You had Wilson Fisk. Now you got Doc Ock, bruv. Mm-hmm. You might love Marvel, innit?
No, there's a better one. There's a better one. Where is it? Is it here somewhere? Oh, here it is. Here we go. Tom looks like Theon Granger, big on the channel. Hey, listen, the way that he was mashing it up on stream, he will be Theon Greyjoy like that, bro, because he is a unit, bro. So we already know go on with Tom. You know what I mean? The deep cut.
Fuck's sake.
This year says Tom looks like. Oh, sorry, we got that one out. There we go. You look a little bit like him, to be fair. We're going to come back to some transfers in a moment, but I wanted to ask the panel a really important question because they've been announced today. Who, in your opinion, I'm going to go to Tom first on this, who should be the PFA Player of the Year? The top 6 have been named as Declan Rice, Raya, Gabriel, Erling Haaland, Bruno Fernandes, and Cherky. They're the 6. It will be one of those 6 that is crowned the PFA Player of the Year. Tom, who is your personal pick?
Fernandes, Bruno Fernandes. He broke the assist record. He was in a United team that finished third beyond where most people expect him to finish, and that was after the first half of the season being with one of the poorer managers in the league. I look at the other options there. Haaland, I just don't think he's done enough. Cherky, again, Cherky was a bit in and out of the team. I know he turned up in some big moments towards in like the midpoint of the season, but I don't necessarily think that's been. I wouldn't look at Cherky and say being the player of the year. And I look at Arsenal. I think David Raya has been good, but I'm always going to struggle to give player of the year to a goalkeeper. And then Gabriel and Rice. I think that Arsenal just had a very good team this year. I don't think they necessarily had a standout player. And I look at what Fernandes done. He was. It was a carry job in a sense to get that United team to where they got to. He broke the assist record, even if I do debate whether that last one was an assist or not. He did get the record, and you know you look at the big games and the big moments for Manchester United. They beat Liverpool twice this year. He was instrumental in both of them games. You beat Man City. I'm pretty sure he got the assist for the winning goal. Yeah. When you beat Arsenal, got an assist in that game. So it's not even like it was just the smaller team. Like he was stat padding them against your Wolves and that. In the big games, Bruno Fernandes, his fingerprints were on those games for United as well. So for me, it is a case of he's been the player of the year. You know, to break a record like that, which most people, you know, a lot of people have gotten close in recent years, but on them managed to get over the line. To be the guy to break, I think that deserves credit and recognition.
100%, bro. 100%. When you go check here, because you said it's a carry job, he won Man United 21 points through his assists alone this season. And through his goals and assists, they've been worth 26 points. That's just one player, bruv. You take away those 26 points, you're closer to us, KJ, I think, at that point. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's been, for me, when you look at the individual who's been the most influential in the team, it doesn't mean that Rice hasn't been influential. It doesn't mean that Gabriel hasn't. They all have. That's why they're in this conversation. But the most influential, the one that's been that guy that's sort of dragged them through and won them games individually by himself at times, is Bruno, man. It's Bruno. It has to be Bruno. Bro.
So you go Bruno as well then, Don?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think anyone's been better. I don't think there's been a single individual better.
So I have my Man United answer. which is of course Bruno Fernandes. You know what I mean? Everything that you guys said, of course, go for it. I'm not gonna obviously deny those things because they're all true. So yeah, Bruno deserves to be in this nomination, deserves to be up there as one of the favorites to potentially win it. If I take that Man United glasses off and the hat off, because I just want to be a general football fan, I actually can't look past Gabriel, like if we're saying this Arsenal team's biggest strength is its defense, and the reason why they was able to win the league because of the 1-0s, the 2-0s, the games that were scrappy but they somehow made it over the line, and you've had the defense being the showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to look at Gabriel and Raya, and I think Gabriel, just what he brings to the back, the leadership, the fact that he's been able to be scoring goals as well, because he's not like just he's not the defender that just defends. He's scored important goals for Arsenal over the years, and especially this season as well. Did he not get the winner against Newcastle in that controversial? Should he have been on the pitch and all that? So,
yeah, should he have been on the pitch?
Yeah, but he still rose to the occasion, even though that was questionable, right? He still rose to the occasion. So if I look at him, like, well, if I look at the best team in the league this year, if I look at their best attribute, which is their defense, and look at their best defender, I think that'd be fair to say Gabriel. I know a lot of people say Declan Rice. I understand that, but as a midfielder, I think Bruno Fernandes has been better than him. So I can't give it to him.
Yeah, I think if you're going to look at any Arsenal players, I'll probably pick between Gabriel and Raya and Saliba. They would be I think they've been the best three Arsenal players, and then Rice for me. But there's a solid argument for Gabriel too, bro. But I'm just looking at what it is with these sort of things, yeah, Terry. I feel like, Mandem even, yeah. I just feel like usually they're favored towards the attackers a lot of the time. Maybe my bias is leaning more towards an attacker in it, if that makes sense. Because Bruno's an attacking midfielder.
Well, it's interesting you say that. So I was just looking here at the list of previous winners. So if we go back from Mo Salah winning it last year, attacker, Mo Salah, Phil Foden, Haaland, Salah, KDB, Van Dijk in 2019, and then Salah. Then you had Kante, who was defensive midfielder, really. And then it was Mahrez, Eden Hazard, Suarez, Bale, Van Persie, Bale, Rooney, Giggs, Ronaldo, Gerrard. You got to go all the way back from Kante, who won it in 2017. You've got to go back to 2005 when John Terry won it.
Terry won it. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Even Ballon d'Ors, bro. Even Ballon d'Ors, it's usually it's so hard as a defender or goalkeeper to win the Ballon d'Or, bro.
You keep going back. Then it's Henry, Van Nistelrooy, Sheringham, Roy Keane, who's just a midfielder. Then you got Ginola, Bergkamp, Alan Shearer, Les Ferdinand, Alan Shearer, Cantona. Then you got to go back to Paul McGrath in 92-93, who was a defender. So if you go back 33 years for the Premier League, you actually had two defenders in a row. Year before that, Gary Pallister. Then it was Mark Hughes, Platt, Mark Hughes, John Barnes. It is nearly always attackers. So there is, and generally that's because the further up the pitch you play, generally the better you are technically. Like the football's always been that way. Like, you might be a good footballer, but a lot of the times, even when you speak to like someone who becomes a wing back, where did you start when you started playing? I used to be a striker, and then I was a winger, and then I was full back. It does happen. So I do get that.
Most attackers get paid the most as well, bro. Like when you go look at
they have the most important and hardest job in the field, which is to score goals.
Yep.
Do you know what's funny, right? That there are some skills that look technically amazing. Certain people, the touches are out this world. And a lot of people don't like what I'm about to say, but it's the truth. Scoring goals is the hardest thing to do in football. And the reason you know that is there's only ever at any point in football been such a minute percentage of pro footballers who have the ability to score lots of goals regularly. Look, I'm a bit like KJ. As a United fan, Bruno winning it is great. The thing I can't get out of my head is when we debated the Premier League Player of the Year. The one thing that, and the reason I say this is because when I go back to those years where Ronaldo won it back-to-back, Giggsy won it, Rooney won it as an example. When I go back to those years, and I go back even further to when United were dominating, and it annoyed me a lot in the 90s as a kid when I saw Les Ferdinand win it and Alan Shearer win it at Newcastle. So 96 and 97, they won it. And I'm sitting there going, how were they? Now, they were in title races with Man United, but I still felt that our players were better because we often got the better of them and we beat them to league titles, but they won it. And then I started to see it again in other periods where in 99, when David Ginola won it, I can't tell you to this day, I'm still angry and bitter about it, boys. I'm sitting there going, I saw Beckham, I saw Scholes, I saw Giggs go deep into every competition and win them all for the first time in English football history. It was considered, the treble was considered impossible. And by the way, that was with smaller squads, smaller benches, only 3 substitutions allowed. And to still see David Ginola win it annoyed me because he was never better than Ryan Giggs in his whole career, let alone that fucking season. He wasn't better than Beckham, let alone that season, just to name a few players. So from my point of view, like, he also, I think, Dwight York that year won the Premier League Player of the Year. And I'm like, how can the guy who smashed it in the Champions League, smashed it in the FA Cup, and with Premier League Player of the Year, how could they not have been PFA Player of the Year? It didn't make any sense to me. Now, I know it's a different voting system. It's voted for by the players. So the thing I will say about the Arsenal players here is I'm not going to be a hypocrite and unwrite everything I've said about Man United's legends from the past. The fact they went to a League Cup final, FA Cup quarterfinal, Champions League final, but were still the best team every week in the Premier League, delivering to the level they did, barring a 3 or 4 game wobble in April, to be at that consistency over a whole Premier League season whilst playing that amount of football, I do put it above the other players, because to maintain that level when you're playing 2 hard games every week, playing 60 odd games in a season, I respect it, because I saw Man United legend in 99 as an example disrespected when it comes to these player awards. That being said, it's why I don't take player awards that seriously. Since 99 until now, I've always gone with their bullshit, because how can a player that how can the United players in 99 be disregarded for those awards? Beckham got number 2 in the Ballon d'Or, but didn't win best player in the Premier League. There's no consistency. Does that make sense? You can't be the second.
The reality is, though, Terry, if Arsenal actually had an attacker that was levels this season, they would have had probably a player of the season up there, bro. Like, if Gyökeres came in and did what Haaland did in his first year for City, bro, like literally, kicked it off straight away, banging all these goals, he would have probably won it, because they've got that bias of winning the league. But again, it's very hard for defenders to win it. Like you've seen, it's hard for defenders to win it. Bro.
No, and I understand that. And Shay here says it's not a team award; it's an individual trophy for an individual's 38-game season. Well, the PFA Player of the Year award isn't. The PFA Player of the Award is the best player this season, which includes every competition you were in. The point I'm making, and you're a United fan, and I know you want Bruno to win it, but for me, I'm just being consistent with previous debates I've had around this. So I want Bruno to win it as a United fan, but what I am not, as best as I can be, as a hypocrite. I can't sit here for years and say I don't care about Gerrard's Player of the Year awards. I think they're unimportant. Then I explain why. And it's because I feel that United were disrespected on these awards for years. I can't suddenly sit here now. I can't.
Terry, there's been a bomber. There's been a bomber, man.
What a weird bomber. What the heck?
Tom, check your mirrors. Tom, check your mirrors.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
my.
What the heck?
Oh. What? Just to wrap up very quickly, just to wrap up the PFA Player of the Year, I think Bruno is going to win it. I'll be very, very happy for him, but I'm not going to change my stance that I've had for the better part. Some people say, Terry, don't go back 30 years. I'm just showing you I'm not a hypocrite. I think players that go deep into all competitions, especially for the PFA award, should come out on top. If you do think individually what Bruno did in 38 games in the Prem surpasses all of that, I respect your opinion. But next year, when Bruno's doing it in the Prem and he's doing it in the Champions League, I almost guarantee you he doesn't get the same attention from the media. I'm just going to throw that out there. He'll get even more attention and praise from me, but we will see. We've got to go to this bomber, though. We've got to go to this breaking news, and it is Bayern Munich are exploring a move to sign Liverpool's Rio Ngumoha. Ornstein bomber. And we said at the start of the show that could this Olise move hurt other clubs? Could this be it? Could Olise be on his way to Real Madrid? And the replacement, could it be Rio Ngumoha? Tom. Oh, Tommy. How you feeling, Tom?
I'm fine. It won't happen. We won't sell him. We've got the left wing you can have. No,
you know what? What's funny, yeah? We had this whole discussion about players who should have went for big money. They don't, and then the clubs regret it because they don't actually get the amount of money it's worth, right? This reminds me of Callum Hudson-Odoi at Chelsea When Bayern offered them 70 million for him, didn't take it, end up leaving.
I don't care. I'll make the same mistake. I'll make the same mistake.
This could be the same thing.
I'll make the same mistake.
I love Rio. I think he's an absolute talent. And he was your only shining hope last season, in my opinion. Him and Szoboszlai, but Szoboszlai established. He was the only real shining hope going in. I can't see you guys selling him, and I can't see Bayern. I can't see Bayern making him the replacement for Olise. It can't be him.
It doesn't make much sense because he doesn't play on the right. He can do, but it's a bit of an unnatural fit.
It is the Ornstein bomb says it's the target for the left-hand side. So because they've missed out on Gordon, he's the left-hand target. Yeah, left-hand side.
It's primary, and it says primary as well. You know what primary means, Tom, right?
Yeah, they can try. They're not getting him, but they don't have to sell him. He signed a contract.
Okay. Here's the thing, Tom. Here's the thing. This still makes sense, right? This still makes sense. They need a backup to Luis Diaz, essentially. They're not going to go for. I wish they went for Marcus Rashford, but they're not going to because of the wages. He's a young player. He could be understudy to Diaz without there being any real issues. Bundesliga, we know what it is. Jamie Gittins was tearing it up, and they've got similar profiles, so that he's going to do well in the Bundesliga. How much money do you take? Because Tom, don't say none, because there is a price. There is a price. So how much money is it going to take for you to say, yeah, give Bayern Rio Ngumoha?
Whatever we have to pay for Jan Diamande.
So up to 80 million. 80 million.
No. We're getting told 112 million pounds for Jan Diamande, so I want the exact same. I want the exact same.
Okay, so
and these lot are going through it right now, isn't it? Getting stained by Real Madrid now.
No, don't. You're not quite understanding it. You're not quite understanding. We don't have wing depth as it is. If we were to sell Rio, which I don't think will happen, but let's just engage in the stupid debate. We sell him. My wingers for next season are Gakpo and Frimpong, and that is it. I've got no one left. I've got nothing left. I've got nothing left. I've got a right back at right wing and Cody Gakpo.
I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to get a bit shaky, I'm a little bit worried.
I'm a little bit.
We're not selling him anyway. I don't know why I'm engaged. We're not selling him. He's gonna play under Andoni, and Andoni's gonna nurture him like he's Semenyo, like he's Ryan, and we're gonna go to the moon.
Don, do you smell that? Terry, you smell that? Prime, is that prime hopium? That sounds like prime hopium.
Do you know what I love about it though is this. Listen, it's an Ornstein. It's an Ornstein tweet, and this is what you've got to remember about an Ornstein tweet. They don't all come off. Okay, not everything he suggests or talks about ends up happening, but his hit rate is very, very successful. Once he writes an article about a player going to another club or there being an interest, I would hazard a guess in the last 3 years, Ornstein's success rate of when he starts talking about a deal and it completing is probably in the low 90s. Not very many that he starts tweeting about. And I'm not talking mentions it when he's asked a question on NBC or Sky. I'm talking about him writing a specific article about. I reckon in the last 3 years, he's got about a 90% success rate. About a 90. Someone here says Ornstein has been well off it recently. What's he been well off on it? And when you say he doesn't report on Liverpool much, but do you remember he was the one journalist last summer that was getting all the abuse from Newcastle fans because he was the one he's consistently right about Isak, Liverpool, what was going on. I'm just saying he doesn't report much on them. It's right, but I'm not saying it'll happen. There's a chance it doesn't. This is Ornstein publicizing this. This isn't Mr. I post about every transfer. This isn't, do you know what I mean? It ain't the Daily Star. This is, you know what I mean?
Can I read a bit of it? Terry? It says
don't. I don't need to.
It says here, Bayern Munich.
One sec, Don. Please read the symphony to us, please. Read the symphony.
It says Bayern Munich are exploring a surprise move for Rio. The German champions have been considering multiple candidates to bolster their attack, and Rio is their main target for the left side. Rio is aware of Bayern's strong interests and intentions, driven by the head coach company and the board, although they are yet to contact Liverpool. Yeah, so boy, it says that the Anfield club insists Rio is not for sale. and they plan to enhance their options in that area of the pitch. And that's about it. It just starts saying about how many games he's played and whatnot. But it's real, bro. Like, there's legs to it, Tom. There's definitely legs to it, bro.
There can be. We don't need to sell. We're not going to sell them. We're not selling them.
What if Rio says I want to leave already? What if Rio says I want to leave already?
He's not going to say that. He's not going to say that.
I tell
How
you,
do you know he's not going to say that?
Tom, let's have a question. Tom, why wouldn't you sell him?
Because I think the pathway at Liverpool is a lot clearer.
The pathways are not clearer.
Yeah.
wait, pathway to what though? Are you winning the Premier League this year?
They want to win the Champions League.
Who knows? Who knows? We've got Andoni. You could win. You could do a lot of great things under Andoni. I'm just saying the pathway to playing. So Rio at this point in time, he's got to continue growing not only as a player, but he's got to get more use of the physicality of the Premier League. The pathway at Liverpool to first team football is a lot clearer than the pathway at Bayern, unless Luis Diaz is on his way out in the next year or two.
How is it?
Because his competition is Gakpo. His competition's Gakpo. He's going to play.
But you've just said he needs to adapt to the physicality.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Why? Yeah, he has to adapt to the physicality of the Premier League, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he could then move from the Premier League, go to an easier league where the adaptation is quicker and easier for him. Play under a manager that's well known and is an established winner as a player and as a manager. Win the league every year. Play with Harry Kane weekly, and learn off some of the best coaches in the world.
Can he not do that at Liverpool?
On Liverpool, there is a press conference clip. Andoni here speaking on this. It's happening very quickly. Let's go.
I've got nothing left. I've got nothing
It's that last part that gets me every time.
That last bit, I mean, obviously, to anyone who doesn't watch EastEnders, this was Lenny and Bill's daughter got murdered, by the way, right? It's a sad scene, but that little bit at the end, that's going to be Tom. As soon as this stream ends, Tom's finding his mum downstairs. He's gonna nestle his head in her chest and start crying.
But Tom, I know we can do all the things mentioned at Liverpool, but what's more of a surefire bet? What's more of a surefire bet of having success? Liverpool under a new manager who we don't know what the level truly is, even though he's done well with Bournemouth. In a league where you're not number one outright, you've got Arsenal, you've got Man City, you're all these other teams that potentially can take you on. Or you just go to, like, for his development, go to Bayern and look at all the players that they developed. Look at what he did to Olise. Look what they've done to Diaz. Look what they've done to Gnabry. Gnabry is the prime example. Them man took a Gnabry and made him world.
The best example is Diaz. Sorry, KJ, to interject. Diaz. Liverpool fans were celebrating his exit. Now look at him. Rio Ngumoha. Listen, this is my message to you, Rio. Okay, you can learn a new language and culture, which is so good for your education. Okay, you can live in a country with great efficiency, beautiful mountains, wonderful wildlife. You can play for an even bigger football club. You're almost guaranteed to.
They're not bigger than us.
They're guaranteed to win their league every single year. They wear a better shade of red. They've got a more accomplished manager. They have the best number 9 in the world. They will pay you more money. And let's not pretend like living in Munich isn't better than living in Liverpool. You're not from Liverpool. You're not a Scouser. And at some point in the future, when you decide to leave, just think about Trent, the treatment he got. Think about the treatment Iron Robben got when he left Bayern Munich. The treatment Bastian Schweinsteiger got when he left Bayern Munich versus the way Liverpool fans treated Trent. All of these things you've got to look at, young man. Make the right decision. Go to Bayern Munich. Better country, better league, better club, better manager. Go on, Rio. Off you go, my son.
You should do it. 100% you should do it. 100%. 100% you should do it. There's no doubt that. If he was my son, I'm saying go. I'm saying, son, go learn, go experience something.
No,
England always going to be here.
He's in the right place for his development.
Where you might be safe, Tom. I was told, that his family are Liverpool, innit? and that's one of the main reasons why he rejected Chelsea in the end, right? So maybe his family would say, "Yo, you can't leave right now, bro. We're in tatters." You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of hope.
So his family's going to be sending the bullets. Is that what you're saying, Don?
That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah.
His family's sending the
I mean,
bullets.
Don, a little bit of guilt tripping's never hurt anyone.
I'll let you know something as well, right? Would you all agree Harry Kane was a big star when he was playing in England?
Yeah.
But there was never, ever a nationally sold bag of crisps that were like, not his face on it, named after him. In Germany, right? This is how big Rio could be. In Germany, there is one of the top selling bags of crisps now across the whole of their country. And they're called Insane Kane. And there's multiple different flavors. They're like knickknacks, as an example. This is the difference in the power you get playing for Bayern Munich in Germany versus Liverpool in England. You become a national star. And I think being English as well, they kind of love that because, we've got a Brit that's our best player. There's a little bit of, the English German thing. Rio, you and your family, you'll make so much more money. You'll become national superstars. You'll have a bag of crisps or a drink named after you. No disrespect to Liverpool, you're not going to get that. Even Gerrard ain't got a bag of crisps named after him. Go to Germany, sir, and you will become not just a legend, you will become a superstar because they love nothing more in Germany to have a Brit killing it over there. It's a bit like me. Although I had a go at him the other week for the squad, of course I want Tuchel to win the World Cup. Do you know how much stick I could give my German friends with one of their boys winning us the World Cup? It's the same difference. So Rio,
are you slightly concerned, Tom? Be honest. Are you slightly concerned?
No, we won't sell them. We won't sell them. We won't sell them, and I don't think. Again, I might be wrong, but I don't think he's going to angle for a move like that. I think that this is too early for that move to happen. I'm not ruling it out in the future, but I think this is his first year of senior football. I think it's too early for that move to happen. I think the best thing he can do now is stay at Liverpool in where he's got a bit of stability at the minute and continue to develop and continue to get.
You call what just happened stability?
Yeah, we got rid of a bad man and brought in a good one.
All right,
you got hella holes. I'm telling you, bro. Right now, Bum Company is such an easy sell. Like we're gonna be back challenging for the Champions League again, Rio. We're gonna win the league again. Yeah. We're gonna challenge PSG for having the best attack in Europe again.
Yep. Yes, sir. And also, see that this is the difference. The Germans. By me, this is who they're sending to do the negotiations. It's over. When this arrives, done out here. It's finished.
Wait, is he a milkman? We need to know. Is he a milkman or a Babylon bandit? Is he one of those?
I can't lie. It's from Newham, innit? It's from Newham, bro. So them and they probably is, man. I can't lie. Probably is, man.
You know what? This could all be solved very easily if we just got one. You know, like how you can get them masks where it's like a someone's face. Can we not just get one of them and stick it on Gakpo and send him off to Bayern?
Well, I'm pretty sure when they realised that Ngumoha is now 6'2" instead of like 5 foot. Like
he had the growth spurt. Yeah.
Oh,
he's 17. He's still a grown lad.
I'm pushing for this now, man. Then because if he goes Bayern Munich,
yes, of course you will, because you know he's a good player. You don't want us to have him.
That will be the biggest club that anyone from Newham's gone to, bro. We've got the Ezri Concerts at Villa. We've got the Calvin Bassies at Fulham. We've got the Iwobis and that. We've got the Tuba Atcoms, all from Newham. You know what I'm saying? Rio goes to Bayern Munich. That will be the biggest move for Newham, bro. Yeah? He's got a goal.
Tom. I've got it for you, Tom. Here you go. I said the same. You buy Diamande, yeah? You end up getting it. You sell Rio, and to replace Rio, you get Bradley Barcola. So you get Barcola and Diamande, and the sacrifice is Rio Ngumoha. What are you doing?
No.
I agree with what Don was saying though. Like being an East London lad as well, you know, him going out there and doing that. Obviously, we had David Beckham that went to Real Madrid. Like we need East London much better than South London at producing talent as well. We have to have that conversation. Show me a South London talent. Now, show me a South London football talent that was as big and as famous as David Beckham, and then we start
Jermaine Defoe's from Newham as well. Forgot to mention him.
Oh, wait. Is that the answer to Don's Terry's question, or is that just you stating?
No, I'm just saying he's another one from Newham.
KJ, Newham is East London as well. They're all from East London.
No, but I thought he was saying
Harry Kane, by the way, is East London. Harry Kane was born in
Chingford.
that way. East London just produces we don't have the volume, but we have the best. There is we're the best versus the volume, innit? Do you know what I'm saying?
We're not quantity, we're quality. South London's like Ruben, Loftus-Cheek, Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think Rice is from like Kingston area. Who else have you got there? Wolford Zaha, Balassi, they're all South London.
Yeah, Croydon ways. That is.
I'll be honest. He's not picking buying. You know what this is? They're angry at us. We took Verts off them last season. They're now lashing out. You know what it is? Real Madrid's coming for their boy, Olise, and now they're lashing out with someone who's done nothing wrong. All we've done is sign a kid they don't want this summer. We're signing that Kenneth Acorn, whoever it is, who they turned down. We want to sign now, and they got their arse in a twist. And then Olise's leaving them. Olise's going off to the sunny Madrid, and now they're lashing out at us for no reason.
Hey, Don and Terry, you know when little kids start bawling, it's like, well, this person did this to me. That's Tom.
We've done nothing wrong in this situation.
Is that a tough week though, man? He's got Real Madrid on his case again. You know what I mean? Every time, yeah.
That was did you not see Canate last night? It's a win for us.
I saw. But Real Madrid, yeah, they always come round and just pickpocket something from you, man, bro. Historically as well, blood. You know what I'm saying? How many dealings have you had with Real Madrid, bro? Michael Owen, you've got what's the other guy's name? I forgot his name now. McManaman, right? You've had Trent.
Yeah, but so
Jude was meant to be going Liverpool apparently, right? He went Real Madrid. You know,
Chouameni was the guy that's supposed to go Liverpool.
Chouameni, blood. Konate now.
Shock. We lost out on some transfer targets to Madrid. Ooh. McManaman was a free. Owen we got 8 million quid for. Trent we got 10 million quid for, which is one of the best deals you'll ever see. And by the way, Konate's a win.
For everyone who's saying Olise, South London, Olise was born in Hammersmith. That's north of the river. And it's what you've got to know about the London divide. Something like 78% of all the tube stations are north of the river. That tells you something. I'm just saying, most of the tube stations are north of the river. Do you know what I mean? So it's just the better part.
Ashley Cole's East London as well, you know.
Yeah, Ashley Cole.
From, John Terry's East London, like Barking. Ashley Cole's from Stepney, bro. And if you know Stepney, that's proper East London, bro. Like Stepney, Whitechapel, and that. Yeah, that's proper East, man. There's bare ballers from East London. I'll be real. Bears, bro.
Yeah, all our guys, Jude Bellingham.
Rio Fernandes from South East. He's probably the best South East London footballer.
Rio. Yeah.
But then even he had to go to East London to fulfill his talent. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, is that.
Where's Joe Cole from? Is Joe Cole from East? He's played for West Ham, isn't it, obviously?
I think Joe Cole must be. Where was he born? He was born. Let me check where he was born. He was born in Paddington, but I don't know where he lived. Let's have an early life in Paddington and lived there until. So he's not East London, but he's north of the river, and then he moved to Somers Town in northwest London. So he's a West London lad. So yeah, let West London him. Let West London. Now Joe Cole isn't from Islington, well, not according to.
It says northwest London. He moved to Somers Town or something near Camden.
Northwest London, yeah, and Camden's nearer to East London, so that's why it rubbed off on him, innit? Do you know what I mean? So.
Sheringham's from East London. You're spot on. Someone just said it in the chat. Teddy Sheringham's from East.
Yeah, we produce the better footballers, but we're not as famous as South London for producing footballers. But East London produces the better footballers, most definitely.
Yeah, there's a team called Senrab that a lot of players used to play for, like John Terry. John Terry used to play for Senrab. I think maybe Sol Campbell. So I think Sol Campbell's from East, you know.
Speaking of
from East, let me just double check that, bro. I'm pretty sure he is. See, now it's all coming out, Terry. Yeah, it's from Newham. Sol Campbell's from Newham, bro.
So you're talking about the best left back, one of the best English left back ever, one of the best centre backs ever, the best right winger ever, one of the best strikers ever. East London smashes South London, bruv.
We do. Sol Campbell is from Plaistow, bro. Plaistow is East London, bruv.
And it smells better at north of the river. Like all these things are just true about East to South East London. Sorry, Pete. So, I mean, I'm only winding you guys up. Love London altogether. But one other deal I want to speak about in the last 5 minutes or so of the show is a Junior Kroupi, because according to this report I've read today, PSG, there's a big report in France, PSG are going to pull away from the deal, leaving Arsenal as the favourites to land the young striker. Is this the level and the type of player Arsenal should focus on to bolster their front line? We know Morgan Rogers, and we know they're looking at maybe Yildiz on the left-hand side. But in terms of another striker, is a young striker like Kroupi a better, the right thing for them to do? Or should it be experience that the Gunners go after at this point?
Well, hold on. Where's the 10-minute monologue from you going? He should be going to Bayern to get crisp packets with his name on it, or he should be going to Paris to get lights with his name on here. He's a young lad.
He should go back to Paris. He should go back to Paris, if anything. That's why I want him to go. I want him to go back to France.
Where's the 10-minute sermon?
The 10-minute sermon's not there because PSG are not trying to get him, apparently, allegedly. So if they were, I'm pretty sure, me and Don especially, would say go to PSG, but they're not apparently going to do it.
You know Terry's not going to advocate for that, Tom. You know that. You know Tom's not going to. You know Terry's going to advocate for him to go Arsenal. Come on, let's be honest.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. I want Arsenal to sign Man United targets. I want them to get so much better. Everything. Yes, but I want.
No, I don't know. I think it'll be good. It'll be good for him. He would have a structure and a manager that I think would develop him well. Like I feel like the Arsenal system needs that bit of flair, needs that bit of freedom, and I know Kroupi will be able to bring that. So it might be a chance for him to show up on a bigger stage. Plus, there's not that much pressure in terms of him being the guy to deliver every week because you've already got Kai Havertz, you've already got Gyökeres, so he can go in there. He can bide his time. And he doesn't have to be the guy delivering for them week in, week out. So it wouldn't be a bad move for him. Obviously, I'd rather him stay at Bournemouth because he doesn't make Arsenal better. And I'd rather him go to PSG, if anything, if he does move, because he's not on another English team. I really like this kid. The only question marks I've got over him is he actually a striker? Or does he want to be a second striker, one of those shadow 10s? Is that what he wants to be? Because he doesn't necessarily play lone striker for Bournemouth all the time either. He's normally playing with Evan Nielsen. So, but.
Florian Plattenberg has said Rio Ngumoha was the secret candidate of FC Bayern. They have been negotiating for weeks. Bayern have reached a full verbal agreement with Rio Ngumoha and his camp.
What about the second paragraph? Read the second paragraph.
Okay, he says absolute priority as a backup to Luis Diaz alongside the pursuit of Anthony Gordon. However, the deal collapsed yesterday, Thursday, for the time being. It remains to be seen whether the club-to-clubs agreement can be reached. But the player has agreed to move. So if you agree that it's collapsed, the player has agreed to the move. Maybe
I don't believe anything he says. I don't believe anything he says. You weren't there for the Florian Wirtz saga last season. He was the journalist that Florian Wirtz had to go at because he falsely reported that Wirtz was asking for the number 10 off McAllister when he wasn't.
So which part do you think is false? That he agreed to join or that the deal's collapsed? Which one of the are wrong?
I just don't believe any of it.
So wait. So if you don't believe any of it, that means the deal hasn't collapsed, but they haven't made.
No, I'm operating off what Ornstein said, which is they're interested. At the end of the day, we have the power in the situation. We're just not going to sell him. We're just not going to sell him.
Yes. If he wants to leave, what are you doing?
You can stay. You can stay. Look, you can stay.
Tommy's in severe pain, bro. You're in severe pain right now.
No, it's just a case of
you've had a bad week, haven't you? You've had a bad week.
He's not about to hand in a transfer. I've had a great week. I've got rid of Arnie Slot and got a new manager, and that's the best thing I could see. At the end of the day, he's not going to hand in a transfer request and before.
This is Tom right now.
Suck your mum, yeah, I said it, suck your mum.
I'm not getting him. He can fuck off. It's not happening.
As soon as Terry started reading that, Tom went straight to his phone to start checking to see if it's actually a real tweet.
Make sure Terry's telling the truth.
It's real. It was a real thing. It's a real thing. And so I know we ended up interjecting on the Kroupi bit, but yeah, just finish your point you were making there, KJ, before the end, because I've only got a couple of minutes left, and I've got.
I was just saying it would be a decent move for us for Kroupi to Arsenal. It makes sense, to be fair. Is he a striker though? Is he a lone striker? That's yet to be seen. But yeah, I think if Arsenal get him, well done, innit? I would hate it, but
I think they'll have to sell Havertz if they want him, to be honest. Or you sell Odegaard and you move Havertz to the 10 permanently. I just don't see how the three of them work, to be honest. Regardless of all the comps they're in.
Oh, a PSG fan has just commented this though.
Oh, and
From
said
Miguel Delaney.
saying, yeah, Miguel Delaney saying that again. I've read some reports that PSG are. He's a really talented player, Junior Kroupi. Tom, you're right. What's that, Tom?
I'm just waiting for the monologue now. Go on, KJ. Don, tell him why you should go to Paris.
I don't believe Paris is a better city than London.
Where's the crisp packets? Where's the crisp packets? Where's the Tour de France sponsorship? Come on, you had all this for real.
Hang on. Show me a bag of crisps that's been named after an English player in France for me to make the comparison with, right? Where?
He's not English. He's not English. He doesn't need it. It has to be a food item in France named after a French player.
Hang on a minute. But no, it doesn't. I'm talking about an young Englishman going to Germany and becoming a star. Kroupi's not English and he's not going to Germany. So you're asking for things that don't exist here. So you're coping bad, sir. You're coping bad. On a real level, I hope Arsenal don't improve their squad as much as they're being linked to. Of course I don't. But I do hope you get weakened. You're my biggest op. I don't like you. Do you know what I'm saying?
We're currently in Wolfie settings where the facts don't matter. It's about how I feel about the situation.
Exactly.
That's what we're on right now.
I love it. There's a few comments I want to jump to before the end of the show. This says Areola is a brand new at Liverpool, no connection to any Liverpool player. This is very true.
I mean, if you go after the reports from yesterday, it wasn't like Slot had the greatest connection. He kept any new signing that come in, he came in and asked them, "Have you ever won the Premier League before?"
Smith Rowe, the Croydon, De Bruyne. Yeah, he's from there. I love this comment though. It says, Terry, your greatest defender is from Beckham. You even wrote an East London player instead of Peckham. We're in your head, love. Rio is a snow bunny hunter. He will love going to Germany. Palace to take Chelsea to court for Olise. Do 2002.
Yeah, that's why we didn't get the guy, man.
20% sell-on clause. It's true. Yeah, Chelsea do get 20% of any transfer fee as well. So that'll make up for no front of shirt sponsor. Ginola is way better than Giggs. See you later.
He said in FIFA.
I'm not even saying them words out loud. Fuck. The only thing he was better at was modeling hair shampoo. No way Bruno wins over Raya or Gabriel in terms of the amount, the significance, and the pressure of those games. You can't ignore that contact. No, that's why I would, if I was voting, I would probably go. I actually give it KJ. I'd go with Gabriel. I think their defense was their most important element, and I'd go with Gabriel. But where I don't think another reason I do think it'll be Bruno is I think people will vote. I think other players will vote for Arsenal players, but they're going to split the vote. Arsenal would have been better off having one player nominate. Because I think that happened. I think they've had split votes on a few of these things. But
that's what happened with Van Dijk and the Ballon d'Or. Yeah. He split the votes between him.
Where I'm happy though that Bruno's winning it is for debate purposes, and then hopefully he wins one major trophy with us, like a Champions League or Prem, and then I can lord it over all the Gerrard lovers that Bruno's as good or better because he'll have the player awards, he'll have a major trophy, he carried a bad team. We can just play that game. That's
these guys. Terry says he's doing this whole thing for balance and unbiased. All these things are about agendas, all of them.
No, 100%.
Well, no, do you know what? That obviously is an agenda. That's a joke. On a real level, though, it's just about I can't debate something probably on about 50 streams in the last 6 years about what I think the best players each season do. I can't then say the opposite to push for one of my players to win an award. That's the definition of hypocrisy, right? I rate BF highly. Who's BF? Bruno Fernandes highly. He played multiple competitions. I would vote for him. Fair enough. Look, what I would say is
Bruno's got a lot of pressure next season because if he has a underwhelming season, they're gonna say, "Oh, he only did that because he had one game a week." So he needs to kick on to me those conversations.
On the Fernandes thing, it's just a case of I think he was the best player in the league this season in terms of what he achieved, and I also think he was the most integral to his team's success in terms of where they ended up finishing. If you take Fernandes, you could take Gabriel out of Arsenal, and I'm not saying that they wouldn't get worse, but I'm saying that they can survive. I think Gabriel missed a month with an injury. Raya is a bit less of a kid. If you took Fernandes out of Manchester United, there's no chance they get anywhere close to top four.
And I'm not going to disagree with that. Bruno had a fantastic season. What I would say about him stepping up, look, 4 seasons ago, Bruno scored more goals from midfield than any midfielder in the history of English football. He beat Sir Bobby Charlton and Lampard's record, but nobody, and he's doing that across Europe and the Premier League. I remember raving about that, and most Man United fans said, "Shut up." And
what season was that?
He's been doing this.
2021.
Yeah, 21 season.
Was it the lockdown year?
Half lockdown.
The season
okay.
after.
Okay. Right.
So he's been doing these things for many, many years. Someone says again, but this is what you get. How many penalties? I thought goals were goals. I thought goals were goals. But there we go. Look, boys, thank you all very much for coming on. I want to thank our viewers today. Great show, fun show as ever. We're going to be back tomorrow with more content, and of course, over the weekend. England play tomorrow night as well, so we're going to start our coverage for that as we have something massive that's just landed for the World Cup. Hopefully, in the next few days, I can announce what we're doing, but probably the biggest thing the Football Terrace has done, and we're very, very excited about it. So, and you guys will understand it. It's the biggest part of our channel, and we're taking it to the next level for the World Cup. So, very excited. Until next time, take care. Are we redirecting anywhere, by the way, KJ?
Oh, let me quick check, because I haven't actually seen anything. They haven't. Nothing's been.
Who's going live soon that I like? Oh, do you know what? Sarah, the Spurs fan, she's live right now. I'll redirect to Sarah. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and I'll see you soon. Peace.